Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a skill that author Cal Newport calls a superpower in our increasingly distracted world: deep work. It's the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. And honestly, mastering it might be the most valuable skill you can possibly develop right now.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the problem, this age of distraction we're all living in. Then we'll get into the solution, the superpower of focus, and even peek under the hood at the neuroscience of it all. After that, it's all practical stuff. Your toolkit, how to build the right environment, and what it actually looks like to live a deep life. Let's jump in.
All right, first things first. Let's really paint a picture of the world we're up against. We're all connected all the time, right? But what has that actually done? It's created this constant hum of low-value distraction. It keeps us splashing around in the shallow end, never really diving into what we're capable of. It's exactly what Nicholas Carr was talking about when he called it the shallows.
So at the heart of this whole thing is a battle. A battle that's probably raging on your computer screen right now. It's deep work versus shallow work. Deep work, that's the good stuff. That's when you're in the zone, solving the hard problems, writing that amazing code, coming up with a killer strategy. It's where the magic happens. And then there's shallow work. You know what I'm talking about. The endless emails, the back-to-back meetings that could have been an email, the scheduling, the social media updates. It makes you feel busy, right? It makes you look productive. But here's the scary part. It doesn't actually create much value, and anyone could do it. The real danger is that our jobs are starting to value looking busy more than actually being effective.
And here's the thing. It's not really your fault. The entire digital world is basically designed to stop you from doing deep work. Nicholas Carr just nailed this in his book. Think about it. The internet, which is supposed to be our greatest tool, is really just an ecosystem of interruption. Every single notification, every app, every website is engineered to hijack your attention. They're training us, literally rewiring us, for these short, frantic bursts of activity. It's a system that rewards skimming the surface, not diving deep.
Okay, so what is this actually doing to our brains? It's not pretty. Every time you hop from that important report to check a quick email or glance at a notification, you think you're multitasking, but you're not. You're context switching. And doing that over and over again is like training a puppy with 1,000 different toys. Your brain starts to crave that next new shiny thing. It completely wears down your ability to focus. And get this, scientists call the effect attention residue. It's like a ghost of the last task that lingers in your mind. So even when you try to get back to the important stuff, part of your brain is still stuck on that email. It just shatters your focus.
All right, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. It's a mess out there. So, what's the fix? Well, this is where it gets good. In a world that is obsessed with shallow, easy, distracted work, being able to go deep, that's not just a skill, that's a superpower.
So why is it a superpower? It really boils down to three things. First, it's valuable. I mean, think about it. As AI gets better and better at the easy, repetitive stuff, what's left? The hard stuff. The ability to learn complex skills fast and create things that are truly new, that's what people will pay for. Second, it's rare. Seriously, look around an average office. Open floor plans, phones buzzing everywhere, the pressure to answer every email in 5 seconds, someone who can actually block all that out and concentrate, they're like a unicorn. And third, it's meaningful. Deep down, we love a good challenge. That feeling of flow where you're so into what you're doing that you lose track of time, that comes from deep work. And man, is that a satisfying feeling.
So this leads to a pretty cool question, right? We've been kind of bashing technology as the big distraction machine, but could it actually be part of the solution? Could something like AI help us learn better and faster so we have more time for the really deep creative work?
Well, take a look at this. This chart is from a study on AI tutors, and it's pretty eye-opening. See that bar on the far left? Those are students who had an AI personalizing their lessons. And look, they learned the material way faster than everyone else, but just as well. What does that tell us? It tells us that as AI takes over the routine parts of learning, the value of what we do, the creative, the complex, the innovative thinking, it just skyrockets. Technology can handle the what to learn. Our superpower is figuring out the how and the why.
Okay, but how does this work on a biological level? I mean, what is actually happening inside your skull when you focus? To really get why deep work is so powerful, we have to look at the brain science. Because this isn't just about trying harder. You're literally changing the physical wiring of your brain. Let's get into it.
So picture this.
Inside your head, there's this constant tug of war going on between two different systems. You've got your task positive network, the TPN. Think of it as the boss, the conductor. It's on when you're locked in, doing deep work. On the other side, you've got the default mode network, the DMN. That's the daydreamer. It's what kicks in when you're scrolling Instagram or just letting your mind wander. And here's the kicker. Every time you check your phone or get distracted, you're feeding the daydreamer. The whole game is to train the boss, the TPN, to stay in charge for longer.
Now, you might be thinking, can I really change my brain? And the answer is a resounding yes. It's all thanks to this incredible thing called neuroplasticity. Your brain isn't set in stone. It's more like a muscle. The more you use it in a certain way, the stronger it gets in that way. So when you practice deep work, you're not just getting better at a task. You are literally building a stronger, more focused brain. It's like going to the gym for your mind. You're making focus your new normal.
So let's get even more specific. How does this rewiring actually happen? It's a process called myelination. It's kind of cool. When you focus really hard on one thing, you're making one specific pathway in your brain fire again and again and again. Your brain notices this and sends out these little cells to wrap that pathway in a fatty substance called myelin. Think of it like this. Myelin takes a slow, bumpy country road in your brain and turns it into a super fast fiber optic highway. Signals just fly down it. That's what mastery feels like. And here's the crucial part. Multitasking, or context switching, completely short-circuits this process. Your brain never knows which road to pave.
Okay, so we've covered the why. We know it's valuable, we know how it works in the brain. Now for the how. Let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually do this? Let's open up the toolkit.
First thing you need to realize is there's no single right way to do this. It's not one size fits all. You've got to find a style that actually works for your life. You could go monastic, completely shut yourself off from the world like a hermit writer. Or maybe bimodal is more your speed. You go deep for a few days, then come up for air and do all the shallow stuff for a few days. The most common is probably rhythmic, where you build a solid habit, like every morning from 8 to 10 is my deep work time, no exceptions. And then there's the journalistic approach, being able to dive deep whenever you get a spare 30 minutes. That one's tough though. It's like the black belt of deep work.
So, once you've picked your style, how do you make it stick? Cal Newport borrows this awesome framework from the business world. It's simple. 1. Focus on one, maybe two wildly important things. Don't try to boil the ocean. 2. Track the process, not just the results. So track your hours of deep work, not just whether the project is finished. You can control the hours. You can't always control the outcome. 3. Keep score and make it visible. Put a calendar on your wall and draw a big, satisfying X through every day you hit your goal. It sounds silly, but it works. And 4, check in with yourself. Have a quick review every week. What went right? What went wrong? What are you going to do differently next week?
Look, here's the absolute biggest takeaway from making this happen. Stop relying on willpower. It's a muscle and it gets tired. Waiting for inspiration to strike is a recipe for failure. The secret is to build rituals, routines. You need to make starting your deep work so automatic you don't even think about it. Decide ahead of time. Where will you be? For how long? What are the rules? Maybe it's go to the library, headphones on, phone off, timer for 90 minutes. That ritual becomes a trigger that tells your brain, okay, it's go time. Okay, so you've got your philosophy, you've got your rituals, but that's only half the battle. Your brain doesn't exist in a vacuum. The space around you, your physical environment, is a huge piece of the puzzle. You have to build your own fortress of solitude. The science behind this is something called cognitive load theory. Here's the easiest way to think about it. Your brain's working memory is like the RAM in your computer. It's super powerful, but you've only got so much of it. Every little thing in your environment, the chatter from the next desk, the phone buzzing, the pile of junk on your table, it's like having a dozen unnecessary programs running in the background. They're all eating up your RAM, leaving you with less power for the program you actually want to run, your deep work. And this really gets to the heart of the problem with most modern offices, right? Is this constant fight between collaboration and concentration. Open-plan offices, sure, they're great for bumping into people and having spontaneous chats, but they're an absolute nightmare for cognitive load. They're distraction factories. On the flip side, a totally private office is amazing for focus, but you might miss out on that collaborative spark. The key is to see it as a trade-off and design your work week to get the best of both worlds, not the worst.
So, you have to be intentional about this. You got to build your bubble. You can make what Newport calls grand gestures. Don't just try to work at your messy desk. Book a conference room for 3 hours. The act of changing your environment signals to your brain that this is serious. Or just get near a window. Seriously, there's a whole theory about how just seeing nature helps our brains recharge their attention spans.
And of course, the big one, make yourself disappear, notifications off, phone in another room. Let people know that for the next 2 hours, you're off the grid. You have to be ruthless about it.
All right, let's pull back for the big picture here. Because at the end of the day, this whole deep work thing, it's not just about cramming more tasks into your day. It's not a productivity hack. It's bigger than that. It's a philosophy. It's a way of approaching your life to make it more meaningful.
It really all boils down to a super simple but powerful idea. Less input equals more output. Think about all the time we spend just consuming, mindlessly scrolling through feeds, clicking on headlines we know are junk, watching stuff we won't remember tomorrow. Every minute you spend doing that is a minute you don't spend creating something valuable. This is about making a conscious choice to shift from being a consumer to being a creator.
And you know who understood this perfectly? The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's the guy who came up with the whole concept of flow. And this quote just says it all. The best moments in our lives aren't when we're relaxing or being entertained. They're when we are pushing ourselves to our absolute limits to do something hard and worthwhile. That's the deep life. It's not about being comfortable, it's about the satisfaction of mastery. It's about choosing depth over the constant, noisy surface of things.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this isn't easy. It takes real effort. It means changing your habits, and it means learning to be okay with being bored sometimes. But in this world, it's just drowning in shallow nonsense. This is your ticket out. It's how you make a real impact. Deep work truly is the superpower for the 21st century. So the question I'll leave you with is, now that you know how to build it, what are you going to create?